ask you all to share what's the most common ways you see people connecting today as that's different from back then when we used to hear music or just talk about that. We can talk about what it was like back then when those songs were out and when they were popular. What was it like back then for guys to approach you, or tell us maybe a story about how you used to be approached back.
Well, back in the day, we used to sit on the steps a lot and watch people walk by. And, when you're sitting on your steps late in the not late in the evening, but around 7, 8 o'clock after you done had your bath and you done powdered up your neck, and you're sitting on you're sitting on the steps talking about so and so that you done been watching in the block for a minute or two, or who has walked past. Back then it wasn't wasn't as big a deal for you to have a car because a lot of people lived in the city, took public transportation. So if you had a car, that was a big deal.
And it sounds like, like you're saying, somebody walking around, it was a neighborhood thing. It wasn't like going out far away from
Exactly.
your community back then to meet
Exactly.
somebody.
It was a neighborhood thing, and folks know who lived down on 2 blocks down in the middle of the block.
Right.
And you had your little corner lounges, as they called them, where you would frequent to go and buy candy or cigarettes or whatever,
Yeah.
So it was more community, and it was more in your face kind of thing. We definitely didn't have, a means electronically to connect and communicate. That wasn't, you
Not
didn't
at
want to be
all.
on, yeah, you didn't want to be on the phone. You didn't want to be you want to just talk to them, but just so that you could set up a time to come and meet.
Yeah.
Either come to my steps or I'll come to yours.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it was a more in your face kind of thing, that's for sure.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That was a common way of meeting people back then.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I don't know if it was harder back then or harder now to meet someone. It seems harder to me to meet somebody because we're not sitting out on the steps. We
Right,
usually,
the exposure.
yeah, and that
Mm-hmm.
has
Mm-hmm.
changed things a lot,
Oh
um,
yeah.
for me. Hi, Tanya. Thanks for joining in.
Good evening.
Good evening. And if anybody wants to put their face on, that's good too. You don't have to be off camera, but it's your call. We were talking about dating back then first, how it was and how we met people, what was the norm for us to meet somebody. And Cheryl was just kind of reflecting back and seeing that back then it was more of a community neighborhood kind of vibe to meet somebody, whereas now
Mm-hmm.
it's gone like digital or gone
Yeah.
away from your neighborhood.
Yeah.
uh you know
Yeah. Now they get to hide. The you get an introduction, but they're hiding behind a picture, and that picture could be old or it could be somebody else.
hmm
You hide behind. You get to present this profile or this image of somebody who 9 times out of 10 that's not the person.
wow.
You
Yeah.
get to build this fantasy person of somebody you'd like to present, but then if at all you get a chance to meet up, oh my gosh,
You
the
find that there are different.
surprises, the
Oh
surprise.
my, that's a little scary. Do everybody agree with that, or have you tried that way of digital dating and then find that people are perpetrating not really who they really are? Darlene, you
Yes,
talking?
I've I've tried internet dating, and I haven't had any of that to happen, Cheryl. I do know that people put those old pictures out there, and
Mm-hmm.
they tend to lead with the young pictures, and then by the time you get to the end, you get to see what the real person supposedly looks like. You
Right.
know.
So when you end up meeting them, Barbara, are they Is that a deal killer, or what happens when has that happened to you?
Oh no, whenever I meet somebody, which is rare because I'm very, very careful and very
Mm-hmm.
picky.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I meet somebody, I've already seen what his picture is actually, even though he's
Mm-hmm.
got young pictures that go on, first, but the people are usually who they are, who they
Okay.
say. That's been my experience.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
It may not work out after that first date, but
Right. So what normally happens to kind of kill it after that first date? Or have you just
I think you can tell, when you're on a date with someone, I think you can tell whether, within the first few minutes, really,
I
Yeah.
whether you
agree.
think
Yeah.
you're going to see this person again,
I
Yeah.
agree with
and
that.
it's just a matter of whether you want to continue on with the date or if you want to be rude and just leave. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've done that a long time ago. I remember I went out on this date and we went at a restaurant, and I knew the moment that he walked in the restaurant, I was in there before he was. This
right,
was not
right.
going to happen. So I conspired with the waitress to tell her that um I wanted to leave. So when he got up to go to the men's room, she said, "Go." He's go. So I jetted out the restaurant. And when he went to the men's room, and I had the waitress to hurry up, run. She was in it with me. And he
Oh
blew
my.
up my phone and cussed me out. I had to block him off the phone because I was like, I don't even want to sit through this date.
Right, right.
I
You
So,
know,
wouldn't want to do that again because I wouldn't
yeah.
like somebody to do that to me. But I just couldn't stomach just sitting there and being phony. And it
Yeah.
wasn't about getting dinner paid or
Right.
anything like
right.
that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But and
You
he
know,
did look like his picture, but it was just once I saw the physical person, it just was like, no. Yeah.
that's why I find it's easier to go to like having the first date be like a coffee shop, someplace quick where you can,
Yeah, this
where you
particular
can
place
get
was
it.
a quick kind of place, but it was like I still had to get in and be seated and that kind of stuff. It
Oh.
wasn't a fancy restaurant, it wasn't nothing expensive. And the thing about it is he drove from I think I remember it was either Virginia,
Mm,
somewhere. He drove in from Virginia.
no wonder he cussed you out.
Yes, indeed. Do you think that dating was more serious back then or more casual compared to today?
Mm, I don't
It
know.
might either.
I
Somebody
think,
else answer that.
okay. Well, let me go ahead. I think dating was a lot more, it was easier and, there was more of a commitment back then.
Mm-hmm.
These days, it's difficult to connect.
Somebody, I
Um,
need Darlene to put herself on mute. Hit the microphone button
Yeah, there's a
because
TV
we're
going
getting
on in the.
background noise.
Mm-hmm.
Darlene?
I hear you. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
y- yeah, back in the day, it was easier to connect.
Yeah.
Um, we would go to clubs sometimes. Sometimes you might meet a guy at a club. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I met one guy when I went to college. So that was easy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, so yeah, it is. It's different these days, and I think we've gotten older,
Yeah.
and that has an impact too. So
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I
And
think.
Yeah.
less patient.
Huh? Who was that?
And less patient.
I
Less
was gonna
patience.
say.
Yeah.
yes,
Gonna say
yes,
less.
less patient.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
It's
you're talking.
almost like we kind of get set in our ways after a certain
No,
period of life, and
you
people, you almost kind of think you know what you want,
you
but you're
do know what you.
open.
I don't think it's think. I think you do know what you want. I think you're less tolerable of someone who has not taken the time that you've taken to invest in yourself. You meet someone who has not had um I don't know.
Growth.
They just have not, prioritized things in life that you think at this age should have been prioritized. And when
Okay.
you meet somebody that hasn't prioritized their life, and then they want to come in and have expectations of you, it's like, how dare you? You
Mm.
know? And I think that's where the lack of patience come in. It's like, I'm expecting an adult to show up here at my date. I'm not
Okay.
expecting this codependency of, or this lack of, I don't know, perspective even. Cuz sometimes, I don't go out much. I'm a in your company kind of a person. I usually meet people as I go along the course of my day. I don't sit and wait for the date.
Yeah, the
But
days are gone about the
right,
neighborhood thing, sitting waiting for him to show up
no,
around the corner.
no, I,
Yeah.
I don't do that. I get out, I get dressed up, I feel good, I go out, I buy myself dinner, and if I see some people out while I'm out, I
Mhm.
talk to people and I engage with people. So I don't need to sit and wait. But I even at that, it's like, you know, you know who you want to have dialogue with beyond the hello.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you miss about dating that, how dating was back then? What are some of the things you miss about that?
I miss
Anyone can
a
talk. I'm
gentleman.
not speaking just to Cheryl.
Yeah, I miss a gentleman. I do. I really, when I meet a gentleman, he got points right off the gate because, you know, they're on a lot of single gentlemen. They're old. They're, gentlemen out there that are attached, but they belong to somebody else. I'm talking about a single gentleman who knows how to engage, who knows the right things to say. And even if he's not telling the truth, if he present
Oh
himself, I mean,
my.
I could deal with him. I could
Okay.
deal with him.
What about you, Tanya? What do you miss about dating back in the day as opposed to now?
I miss people being authentic.
Yeah.
Because that robs people of the opportunity to really get to know you.
Yep.
Be who you are. You
Yeah.
don't have to try to show up or have this persona as if you have all these things, because that's not what this date is about. I want to know who you are.
Who are
And I
you?
think we get caught up in that. Painting these pictures. You got social media that you're contending with, especially the younger generations. They see these things online and this is what they think is reality and they want to pursue, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not real life.
That's
That's
Right.
so
not
true.
reality. Be
Yeah.
who
Right.
you are. And
Yeah.
in addition, you know, somewhere along the way, the tables have turned and men think they are
The prize.
the prize. They're
Mm-hmm.
calling themselves these days high value men. And all that all that equates to is, the ratio. They always refer to the ratio. There's more single women out here than men. And so essentially I'm the prize. So, whatever you get from me is, be grateful for. And it's like,
Wow.
no, not that desperate.
Right.
And
Yeah. It kind
you
of
over here playing games. So
forces us into thinking that, you know what, no, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Whereas
Exactly.
back in the day, women were prized, or at least men seemed to treat us as if we were,
Yeah.
not
Right.
like they do today.
Yeah.
Anybody
Exactly.
don't agree with that?
Exactly. Especially when you have men that show up, ask you on a date, but want you to pay.
Yeah, I pulled out a clip last time we were talking about this young lady who saw someone in the neighborhood and she asked him for a date and he started telling her, "Well, I got 3 kids and you're going to pay for the date and you're going to pay for this, you're going to be paying for that." And she was like, "Oh, well, I just wanted to go out on a date. You expect for me to pay for everything?" So that
Right.
was a different approach that I have never experienced that first of all, I don't ask too many men out on dates, but
Mm-hmm.
if I did, I wouldn't expect for that kind of response that, they want you to take care of everything,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Gentlemen are no longer gentlemen. I mean, I'm not saying that all gentlemen are, they don't exist, but you have more people with expectations or of, the women,
Mm-hmm.
being the pursuer.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
think for the most of us on this call, we're not willing to do that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-mm.
Do you remember or have you ever had a guy write you a love letter?
Yes, I have.
Oh,
I've had,
yes.
yes, I have. I'm married to one.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Does he still write love letters?
In cards, yes.
Okay. What
In
Mm-hmm.
about you,
cards.
Barbara? You were saying something
Oh
about the
yeah,
love
love
letter?
letters. I loved love letters, but now these days we don't get that, of
Mm-mm.
course.
Right.
It's more of a text
Yeah.
or,
Hmm.
or a card. Now I'm crazy about cards, and I tell anybody, give me a card. It doesn't have to even be for a specific reason,
Right.
Right.
just
Right.
because, I
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
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 Now, do you expect when a guy asks you out for a date, like traditionally, do you expect them to show up with flowers or candy or no?
Oh, they could if they want to.
Or
So
do
I'm
you
not,
expect it?
I'm really not expecting it. And it
Okay.
would probably be a surprise if someone did show up like that,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Yeah.
just not the way it is these days.
That's
No.
one of the things that have changed, I think,
Mhm.
Yeah.
from the way
Yeah.
it used to be. I think that they were taught that that's what gentlemen do back in the day when they asked a girl out for a date, that they should show up at her door with flowers or something to really show
Some
Something.
type of
their
gesture.
interest.
Yeah.
If
Some type of gesture.
yeah, and like Barbara was saying, you don't really expect it, but it is nice to
Yeah.
Yeah.
have it.
It
And
is
it,
nice.
yeah, I don't know if it happens that much anymore. That seems to be a dead art of dating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. I think for us to I think it would be nice. I mean, it would definitely gain some big time brownie points.
yeah,
That being said, I don't want that guy who thinks that showing up with them flowers and them gestures is going to get him any brownie points that would like there's an expectation behind bringing them, like this is gonna get me in some place that
It's going to
normally I
soften you
wouldn't.
up
Yeah, soften you up for the kill.
for
Jump
the
in,
yeah.
kill.
Well,
jump in for the kill.
back in the 60s, I think that was still during the time where guys had to meet your parents before they could even take you out.
Hello,
You know,
hello,
sneaking out with them. They had to meet somebody before you
somebody.
could go
That's
out
right.
with them.
That's right. That's
Yeah, that I think that's pretty much dead too.
well, in the '60s, I don't think I was going out on dates in the
Yeah,
'60s.
but even a boyfriend, if you
But
called
yeah,
yourself,
but yes, to your point, you're
yeah,
absolutely right. There were expectations before the date.
yeah, yeah,
Like, I need to know who he is, what kind of family he coming from, that kind of thing. And now you don't know who's showing up at your house and whether there was a family,
yeah.
you know.
So, I mean, where is the hope in dating now? Have we lost hope in dating, or we're just, I think all of us on this line are professional women. We've achieved a lot. We don't, so to speak, I know people don't like to hear this, need a man. But um, do you feel like it's just not something that you spend time hoping for, wishing for, thinking it'll
Yeah.
happen, thinking it'll never happen? I mean, or are you just kind of like, the way things are nowadays? I
I think that it's still alive, but it's very few. It's very few that it's happening to.
Mm-hmm.
It's still keep hope alive, but it's
yeah,
very few. I say a ratio maybe out of 10, maybe one will get it, but it's not that much.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I
yeah.
The pickings are few.
the pickers of
Yeah, it is few.
but
I
I
had just came from my class reunion and there was a girl in my class that just got married for the first time
mm,
and she is 68.
okay.
Yeah.
So there is hope. My
Yeah.
my thing is keep your heart open, show up with an open heart, and
Right.
keep doing life so that when it comes you're ready.
Yeah.
I think
What
if you put yourself in a mindset of of thankfulness and gratefulness, then you will be able to see the good. You won't focus so much on the bad.
right.
And
Yeah,
then top that with just living life and being open to new experiences and new people. I think something's bound to find their way in.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I agree with all of that. Yep.
Yeah,
I do too, Cheryl. I
Yeah,
agree
keep
with that.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. I feel like we I'm sorry we didn't have any guys that showed up tonight because I don't want to speak for them. But what do you guys what do you feel men want these days? Like as opposed to back then, maybe they wanted you to just be their girlfriend, exclusive. That was established sooner rather than later.
mm-hmm.
Things would just progress on like that. What do you
I,
think that the guy's expecting now?
I think touching back on that openness, I think they want you to just show up authentically, like Tanya had mentioned. I think you know so much of what's out there now is so made up and touched up and fixed up, and it's like, where is the not so much natural, but where is the authentic part of you know people showing up now? I think that's what's missing from both male and female perspective.
I
It's
was
like,
just getting ready to say that. I think it's more so, I'm surprised you said that because I think that's more so the way men perceive us is
oh
that
yeah.
we're not coming authentic with our natural hair sometimes or
don't even
you
think
know,
it's so much that. I think it's that whole persona of, you know, the way that they come without the natural hair. If I think something else is there. Like if you show up with or without your natural hair, I think it's just that whole persona of who shows up. This pretentiousness. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
yeah, but
That I think it's like what is that was that Earth, Wind and Fire? The whole world is a masquerade. That
Yeah.
everybody need to take off the
Yes.
mask and
Yes.
show up.
And
but
show
do
up
you
who
think,
you are.
Bernadette, that that's what's stopping us from connecting now because everybody's kind of not is a facade of who they really are?
I do. I do. I think that
Yeah,
has a lot to do with it.
yeah.
Men
Yeah, I
and
think
women.
Mhm.
Men and
men
women.
and women,
I
yeah.
was just going to
Yeah.
say that,
Yeah.
because women these days, also have an expectation of men that puts them men in a fearful state because when you come with a list, you come with all these expectations up front.
Mm-hmm.
um, you really are diminishing the opportunity for them to really get to know you
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
all they're going to know about you is what your expectations are.
Right.
And
right.
that turns men off, and
Yeah, it
they're
does.
fearful of that. They're fearful of rejection and
Mm-hmm.
loneliness, just like women are.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think you touched on something there,
Yeah.
because a lot of times, now, especially nowadays, women are showing up really powerful and they make it known that they're powerful. And
Yes.
so
Mhm.
so that instantly demasculates them. It's like, well, I just work for the city. I'm I just, I just like to come home and get a good meal, and I'm good. Now that may be a good dude, and maybe all he needs is a little motivation from a strong woman. But if you come busting the door down, you know, like, yeah, I run 6 businesses and I got my PhD, and you know, and I only wear designer clothes. He like, I can't compete with that.
Yeah. So we might be projecting them away from what we come with. We might be coming too strong for these men. I don't know. Like I said, the men are not on here to defend themselves,
Right, right, right.
but
But
that's
I,
our perception.
I hear that. I do hear that. I hear that because sometimes you can find a diamond in the rough that worked for the city and elevate him based on his exposure. A lot of times people don't elevate because they're never exposed to good stuff.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know,
Uh-huh.
you don't know what you're missing until you can't have it. Then you're like, well, wait a minute, let me try.
I kind of think that the women that are like high profile and six-figure women or whatever you want to call them, I
Mm-hmm.
think they do miss out on having someone
That
good
city
for them
worker.
in their lives because these guys, like you said, they're not coming with all of this a lot of times, but
Mm-mm.
they're good guys.
They're good guys. That's
Yeah,
right.
and they could treat you like you want to be treated, and they
Exactly.
can bring you what you're missing in your life or whatever like that, but we're not really, really open to giving them a good chance of that. And it could be because of how you're going to be judged. What's she
But
doing with him? He working for the sanitation department or something
Right.
like that. You got this
But
big old job
who's
and
to
you
say he
may
gonna
I think
get?
I do think too at this point, the age that we're at, the boomers and stuff like that, we
Yeah.
don't we lose patience of trying to groom somebody to get to
Yes.
that stage.
Yes.
So
And
we
that's
lose
real.
out. We are saying that okay, I don't have the patience, the
I don't have
time,
the
been
time.
there,
Right.
done that, don't want to do that. So,
Right. Right.
that'll work, and then the ones that do have it, maybe they will groom them, but very few of us at this age want to do that.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
know
I
want to
that's
know
the
agree
how
with
truth.
long
that.
did that go on? Because if y'all talking about it and it was a thing when I was in high school, it's a thing in, I guess, when I was in my 20s. You mean to
Mm-hmm.
tell me that the men never get themselves together? That they expect to
That's a
be
good point, Tiffany.
Well, they say that men are a little slower than women.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I believe that they a little slow as men, they boys, and then they turn men, and they
Mm-hmm.
still tailing behind.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
man,
a
that's
sad fact.
disheartening.
I
That's
think that's true.
disheartening because who tried to
Go ahead,
That's
Tiffany.
just, I mean, that's a shame. If
It.
people get to that particular age now, they have statistics where they've talked about, like I've seen videos and stuff where nurses are coming on and talking about the fact that men of a certain age, because they didn't settle down in their younger years, and younger
Uh-huh.
years being, I guess, 30 to 50
30s,
or
40s. Yeah.
whatever,
Uh-huh.
that they are now in situations where they're estranged from their children. They have treated people, as if they were disposable all that time, and now
Right.
they're in health crisis or things of that nature. Then they want to come back and start looking for somebody. And if that's the case, when you get to them, you still only got to look at them as, oh, they're a good guy. But I
Right.
mean,
Right.
it has to be a situation where I don't know how is it that you all are able to say that you can still, achieve things in life, go out and still mingle and have a good time and live life and everything like that, and be in an enjoyment stage
Mm-hmm.
of, life, and being where you're not so critical of people as you meet them. But
Right.
then here it is a situation where you have to have some kind of discernment if you get all the way to past 50 and you meeting men that are in that same age group and you still have to sew into them in that manner.
Yeah.
That's
There's some,
crazy.
there's some
Yeah.
disconnection there with men just getting to a certain level when they could, like men back then, um, like maybe our fathers, maybe not our people we were dating, but the fathers and the men back then were the providers. They were the ones that if they went or they approached a woman on a serious level, that they knew that they had to come with a level
A
of,
plan.
I am here
Plan.
to take care of you, look out for you, provide for you, um, marry you, have children with you. So they
Mm-hmm.
came like that. Where,
Yeah.
in our age group now, it seems like they've been through relationships just like we have.
Right.
Those relationships didn't last. A lot of times it's not them breaking up with the woman, it's the woman breaking up with them.
Mm-hmm.
So there may have been the same issue that they never addressed and they just take it along the rest of their lives,
Right.
just wing it, it seems
Right.
like. And
Yeah.
so we're running into, yes, you might be a good guy, you may have learned from things, you've been through experiences, but what have you done to improve yourself?
Yeah.
We get to a certain part of our life, and women do, I think, that we feel like, I'm not tolerating this. I know I am not perfect, but I am going to work on bettering myself,
Mm-hmm.
or if
Mm-hmm.
something else comes along. All
Mm-hmm.
agree with
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
definitely agree with that. I think we're always looking at the opportunity to do better. Always, as long as you're here, there's room for growth and there's opportunity for better.
Yeah.
And I think I think, and like you say, I can't speak for the men because they're not here, but
Yeah. They're not here.
uh, I think they get complacent. They feel like, well, my health is failing me, and the best thing I can do is just be still.
Well,
And
like Barbara
and
was saying too, that these men, they, you know, they kind of settle, and there's more men, I mean, more women than men available. So they can kind of coast along,
hmm
with that fact in mind that,
right, right. I don't
if
need to
she
do.
don't work out, there's somebody else that will work out, and I'll just keep rolling with that. That's fine with me. I get my needs met or whatever the case may be.
Right,
I'm not
right,
looking for
right.
nothing serious. And they use that number game to kind of play it along.
hmm
And here they get to that age where they on canes and
And
taking 12
oxygen.
pills every day. Then nobody wants them at that point.
Right,
You know?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, ladies,
And they end up being old and angry.
And grumpy. Yes,
old
yeah.
Yeah.
and angry.
Grumpy.
Yeah. Wow.
Old and grumpy.
Yeah, because they know that they're not
They
at
miss
their
their
prime
window.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
They
they don't
can't
have a
offer
lot to
too much
offer.
to a woman that has more than them.
That's right.
And so
That's
they
right.
they get mad. They get mad
Yeah,
at all the women.
Mhm.
Seem like.
that's right.
But we're
That's
not
right.
here to man bash. Let's say something good and positive that we can say about the men, so this won't seem like this was like a
Well,
intense session.
I I think that all of us just need to be here again open. Just be open. Even
Okay.
if you're in that scenario, you can find somebody to love you, for who you are. If you're open, if you're open to exploring that.
Right.
So let's talk about that for a minute because I wanted to ask about dating younger men and interracial dating.
Oh, that's an excellent segue in. I'm open to all of it.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Oh, I have my concerns.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
And I know I'm closed in terms of who I want to date.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not a person, I'm not an interracial dating person. And
Okay.
that keeps a lot of men out of my space, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's just not, it's just the way I grew up. And
Okay.
that's what I'm into. Now, younger men, um, I just wonder, what's going on? It's like, why are you reaching out to me?
So do younger men approach you from time to time, Barbara?
Yeah, on the internet, on dating sites.
Okay. And so when they do approach you, do you automatically just kind of like,
Oh, I don't
what you up
answer.
to?
I don't answer.
You
Oh,
don't?
Why do I need a 40-year-old?
okay.
You
I
know?
Okay,
can
so
think of I
let's
can
just
think
say
of
this.
another
Let's
reason.
say you met this young man out somewhere, because Darlene had mentioned some young man in her neighborhood on our call before, and
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have a car and things like that. So beyond that, if you met a guy that was younger
Hmm.
and you were attracted to him, you liked him or whatever like that, you seem to have some kind of interest in him,
Hmm.
and he approached you in a positive way, gentleman and all of that, would you
I don't know. I'd have to
consider?
cross. I'd have to cross that bridge later because I can't answer that. I just
Okay,
have. I just think that guys who are in their 40s and 50s are just not for me. Now,
okay,
even the guys who are like in the mid 60s or whatever, okay, I could deal with that. It's a little bit younger than me, but I could do that. But I just don't want to date anybody or entertain the possibility of dating someone that's younger than that.
Why?
yeah.
Because you feel, do you feel as though someone in their 40s has a different mindset or a different, well,
So what's your
they're in
fear?
a different,
What is your
they,
fear?
I think
Or
they're looking for a sugar mama.
oh, that's what it
What
is.
if they
Oh,
had
okay.
money, Barbara?
Like I said, I'd have to cross that bridge when I got
Okay,
to
so
it. Now
you're
So
open
you
to it.
so so in your mind you have a mindset of what a 40-year-old it is then. You're not coming into it with an open
with
mind and an
open
and
open
mind.
heart.
and that's
Mm-hmm.
You
and
know,
that's what
so
I was
because
saying,
yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
that's why I piggybacked on Cheryl's remark about being open.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
understand that. And
Right.
I mean, it's okay for people in what they want to do, but it's just
Right.
my mindset.
So your fear, Barbara, well, your fear is being a nurse or a purse?
Nurse or purse. That's a good one. A nurse
Like
or a
that.
purse.
I like that
Go ahead,
terminology.
Cheryl.
A nurse
Yeah,
or
they
purse.
want a nurse or a purse. Either they're older and they want a nurse, or they're
Right.
younger and they want that purse.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. I
Right.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
thing. That's definitely a thing, Barbara. And
Nurse
Yeah.
or nurse.
I feel like if you would have that open mind, come as you are, and somebody swings in your pathway some way or another, and they happen to be a younger person,
Mm-hmm.
that you have, your ideal person would be, and they come with everything that you would like in a man, just be open to it.
I think too, Barbara, I think sometimes there are men who like older women who
Yeah.
just who
They're attractive.
authentically
I agree.
likes older women because they're settled, they
Yeah.
know what they want, they don't dilly dally, and you know exactly where they're coming from, and that's what they're seeking.
Yeah.
They're
Yes, I
seeking
do
all
believe
of
that.
that
Hmm.
stability.
Yeah.
Don't let me find one that's open to a little seasoning, honey.
A little
Okay, Cheryl.
seasoning. Okay. I'm
Seasoning.
learning all kinds of different
That's
terminologies
yeah,
tonight.
that's right. He gonna get some salt and pepper. He ain't never thought he would be
Yes.
getting pulled up.
Just like we all have our preferences, we might like tall, we might like dark, we might like handsome, we might like white, black, whatever. We all kind of have this a preference. I think
Hmm.
we all do that.
Yeah.
And that
Call
person that could be
unconsciously something. Uh-huh.
I was going to say that person that could be right for you
Right for
may
you.
not fit all of those things that you need, and you could be
Exactly.
missing your blessing.
Exactly. And you know what? My thing is, I know I talk a lot of smack, but my thing is treat me right. Treat me like I want to be treated, and I feel good about me and about you and me being with you.
Yes, that's
Baby,
what I'm
it's
saying.
on and cracking, and I don't care what nobody say because I'm happy.
Well, it could be the same thing for you, Barbara, that your preferences is somebody a certain age, and they could say, well, you don't fit their standard, but I
Right.
like you.
And that
You're
is
not
true.
what I normally choose, but
But
I
I
like you, and I'm gonna
yeah,
come for you. I'm gonna come for you.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
listen, I like to stay within my hour, and we are at 7:57 Eastern time. And
Okay.
I can't thank you all enough for sharing your thoughts on this conversation and being honest about it. I think it was a good conversation tonight. It doesn't solve all of the things that is out here in the dating world, the way it used to be and where it is now. But I think that we have at least kind of opened up and saw that we kind of share certain feelings about what's going on, how it used to be, how it is now,
Mm-hmm.
and how we can be our authentic selves. We just stay who we are, and whatever is supposed to come to us and be there for us, whether it's a man or whatever, it could be anything in life. Just
Be
be
open.
open to it when it
Be open
arrives.
to it. That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. Amen.
All right, so we're
Amen.
going to end it on there unless somebody else has something else to say. I just want to thank you all for hanging in there with me. Please put in the chat or send me a text or something if you come up with uh, any subject matters that you would like to discuss on Grown, Fly, and Flowing. It doesn't have to be. We've kind of touched on relationships twice now, so I'm going to start going into different directions. But please let me know, and I thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the hearts. Thanks for showing up and hanging in there with this concept. I think
And
it's only going to get better. Tell a friend, show up again, and that's all I can ask
and
for.
thanks for doing this, Barbara.
Yes,
Period. Thank you
absolutely.
for sharing your thoughts
I,
and your feelings with us tonight, Barbara. She's a new boomeranger. Okay. And so is Tanya and Tiffany. They're the Gen Xers, and their thoughts are just as important because they can
oh,
see
absolutely.
what we are experiencing. Whether you're married or you're single, you're still in relationships. So that's,
Absolutely.
that's good.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And darling, you've been mighty quiet.
Oh, no, I don't have nothing to say.
All right. Well, thanks for coming. Okay.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
everybody. Okay.
You
All righty.
everybody
All
have a
right.
good
So we're gonna
evening.
say good night.
Okay,
All
good
righty.
night.
Good
Night.
night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Night.